So what we have is one of the units that we excavated. When we were doing the excavations in January, we had arbitrary names for the regions. We also had unit numbers for the actual excavation units, and then we had layers. And so all the materials are organized so we know exactly where in space they came from. The first layer of work in the lab is just to wash them and then to sort through the material. And so you see here, and this is somewhat typical of what we have, some metal objects, animal bones, some charcoal, some pieces of brick and stone, glass, and ceramics. It's not just that they came from a couple hundred years ago, but in looking at them, Gene's able to, because of a tremendous amount of experience in looking at these materials, tell us approximately when it might have been used down here in Manatee County.
This bottle was born clear, and because of the manganese in it and UV radiation, it became purple over time. We know that it's a little bit older, even though manganese is late 19th century. We know that this is an earlier manganese because it doesn't have bottle seams on the lid.
One thing that's really interesting that we find a lot of are teeth, because they preserve better than just a regular bone because of the enamel.
Animal teeth.
Yes, animal, all animal. So what we have here are drum teeth. We can tell that some of these are juvenile because of the way they're situated within the bone. They're not erupted yet. So this one, you can see, would have had a bone covering over it, but in excavation that came off.
But I think that story of freedom seekers is the one that was the hardest to reach. The only source we have on everyday life is the archaeological record. And it's so important to expose this aspect of the Underground Railroad. And so ultimately what we're trying to get to is that history of the past. We want to be able to robustly and empirically discuss the ways of life of these Maroons, these freedom seekers who found liberty by the shores of the Manatee River 200 years ago. And we connect their struggle for freedom to their descendants on Andros Island that carry us into the present.